came from the game table, dice bags in hand.
We have one brain that we share between us.
To talk about role-playing for all across the land.
And you like it?
The original, then basic, then one they scoured.
Kinda grabs you by the boo-boo, don't it?
To bring AD&D to the second power.
You want me to put the hammer down?
Welcome to THACO's Hammer, the best damn AD&D 2nd edition podcast ever.
Three, two, one. Hiya, folks. GM Glen here, out of desperation, and it is THACO's Hammer again, episode 164. He's worth a lot to me. Who?
What if he doesn't survive?
Ah, okay. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, somehow,
Right.
some way.
I'm DM Glenn, this is DM Brian here,
Hey, folks, what's going on out there?
and DM Full On Gamer.
Greetings, Gamer Nation. And you can come in warm or you can come in cold. It's your choice. But if you
What?
run, you're just going to die tired.
As long as you come in for dinner. So,
He's
Yeah,
already in character.
see how I kept that clean?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to hits and crits.
Well,
One thought he was invincible, the other thought he could fly.
so?
They were both wrong.
Son of a bitch is dug in like an Alabama tick.
You're hit. You're bleeding, man.
I ain't got time to bleed.
We're sending somebody in to negotiate. Anybody else want to negotiate?
Hits and crits.
Hits and crits. Hits and crits. Ho, 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 ho. Oh, this has been an interesting month, hasn't it?
To say the least.
How interesting.
Oh, well,
Brian,
what? No, let's
how-
see. Let's see now. I've been
count the ways.
Yeah, let me count the ways. I've been working like the proverbial dog, to where I'm like, I am thinking, what if things calm down by sometime in August, I am taking a week's vacation and I'm going to stay inside and not do anything with anybody. Because
Sounds
yeah,
like Becky's vacation
yeah,
last week.
yeah, I'm just that tired. But let's see. What else? My own podcast, Confessions of an Arcade Addict, is rolling along. I just put out episode 28 earlier this week. Let's see. As an adjunct to that, one of my favorite arcades is reopened under, of course, COVID rules. Games are wiped down after somebody's used them. Masks are mandatory. You can wear, you can actually wear gloves, and the place will supply gloves and so forth. There have been a couple of pictures on Facebook I've seen where people have reopened their arcades and they've had like clear plastic sheets in between the games to minimize the spread of the virus if anyone who has it is in there and so forth. Let's see what else.
I think the casinos around here yanked like every other machine.
Yep.
Just to keep the distance.
Yep. That same thing happened with all the casinos here in Detroit. So yeah, same thing. Yeah, because like Full On said when we were BSing before we started the show, people have to make money. Everything's been at it more or less a standstill or slow crawl since the beginning of March, and yeah.
Well, I walked into Barnes & Noble last week, which is the first store that I had been to in months that actually required masks. Fortunately, I carry a mask with me just for these kind of things.
Yeah, for just such an emergency.
Such an emergency. So it's like, wow, this is the first store that actually requires them. What the hell? I put them on and go. And, well, it works. So did they rename the arcade, what is it, Flingemans? What was the one from Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, I can't remember. I haven't seen Wreck-It Ralph in months.
Yeah.
Because God only knows, every time my son went to when he went to the hospital last year, that's all he would watch. Now, this year, he's already been in the hospital 3 times in the last month, and every time he wants to watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Every single effing time. Ugh. It's like I can almost recite the movie by heart by this point. But yeah.
You know, I learned from Roger Rabbit to not do that as an adult, because then you'd never want to watch it. And I still want to watch a lot of these films I have.
Right.
So I got to put them on the shelf and leave them sit there for a while.
Oh, I can pretty much recite A New Hope, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi word for word, and I will still watch them if they come on TV. So yeah,
True.
You know, and of course my DVDs are in storage right now. But yeah, I've got.
I have I like a chapter and verse from Chinatown.
Forget it, Jack.
since 74 or 75 when it came out, I think I've watched it at least 50 times.
Yeah, they're just those. Silver Streak's another one. Silver Streak's one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, I can recite it almost word for word. And anytime I see it, like on AMC or one of the cable channels, I will still sit back and watch it because it's just that entertaining.
You remember that movie Rango?
Yes.
Yep.
Jeff did, and what's his name? Ned Beatty, who was the bad guy turtle in the wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's Noah Cross from Chinatown. Yeah, he's doing John Huston as Noah Cross.
Oh, you are
the
so
future,
silly,
the future, Mr. Gibbs.
So yeah, that's me. You know.
Okay. And what are you full on? Well, we know what you are.
One last.
We know what you are.
I'm 3 weeks into driving for another 3 weeks out on the road. I've had to pass on a invitation to a Roll20 game that was initiated by one of the YouTubers I'm a Patreon for. He's decided he was going to get his beak wet on the online gaming with running and trying to stream for his podcast, for his YouTube channel, House of Strahd 5th Edition. I had to sadly bow out for 2 reasons. 1, I don't 5th Edition, and 2, I've done Strahd, Ravenloft, etc. in all incarnations from 1st Edition up, and you know it would not be fair for me to be a player in that.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I didn't realize. I hate to say this. I really hate to say this because there's going to be naysayers out there, but I never realized until I played House of Strahd what a wimp Strahd is against a coordinated attack by player characters.
That's true.
If they know what they're doing.
I mean,
That's the whole point.
If you know what you're doing and you know what to go in and what to use, he is like a house of cards.
Yeah. There's a reason why they put a sun sword in that place.
Cannon. He's a glass cannon, and all the things you need to beat him are in the building if you can live long enough to go get them. And that's not even using any of the forbidden lore or any of those other twists and stuff to set up how the great adventure can be different each time, whether it's he's after the girl, he's after the sun sword, he's this, that, or the other, whatever. He wants to make the eternal night happen, all those different plot points that could be what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
All of those make it a little different each time, but still, you know, it's the trope again, and more trope, and if you walk in and split the party, you're all going to die.
Yeah, never split the party in that,
if
especially in that
if you let him split the party, because that's what it's designed to do. He can separate you, divide you, split you, one-off you, come back with dominated people who know enough to know that people are going to come back dominated, should immediately start PKing each other, or at least trying to break the domination. But yeah, it's going to happen. So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Well,
I've been enjoying myself with other things though to pass the time catching up multiple series of additional anime that I may or may not send to you guys at a later date once your palate's cleansed.
Wait 6 months, please. I beg of you. I'm going to be buried under a pile of DVD cases. Yeah, I know it's fun.
Is fun. You've heard of Bofuri?
No, I have not. No.
It's one of those anime that has an incredibly ludicrous long name, since everybody's doing that these days, of incredibly ludicrous long names for their animes.
Yep.
This one is, I don't want to get hurt, so I'm going to maximize my defense.
Well,
it's cute. It's funny.
Well, Brian's already buried under martial arts right now. So.
And anime, yes.
Yeah.
I'm already it's already past my waist. You know, don't send any more, please. I beg of you. Not now.
Oh, by the way, in Curse of Strahd,
the pre-orders, I apologize for it. I'll just say that now.
Oh dear.
No comment.
Oh,
but, by the way, in 5th edition, Strahd is after the Sun Sword.
Yeah, I understand that.
My DM would like to strangle me because every time I said it, I would say the fabulous Sun Sword.
Well, of course.
Where's Thundar when you need him?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, come on. I mean, the jokes write themselves at that point.
Is it just a hilt until he pushes a button and you get the thing?
Like, shut up, Glenn. Through gritted teeth.
The fabulous Sun Sword.
Why do you think I crossed it over into Star Wars so easily?
Oh, yeah, the fabulous Sun Sword. Attaboy, Luther! Anyway. Well, it sounds like you're having a lot of fun. So what do you watch these on the road when you're billeted at night?
When I'm sitting here parked for 20 hours at a time and I only need to sleep for 6 of them, I'm going to watch about 18 hours of anime.
Wow.
Or I'll watch 9 hours of anime and 9 hours of anime reactors and then comment with them on stuff.
Oh, dear. Now that I believe. That I 100% believe. I could just see that. Just see this bobtailed cab somewhere just sitting in a parking lot, and all of a sudden you just hear, what? oh hell no. And then you just hear massive typing. Yeah, I believe that for sure. Oh, so Glenn, what are you been doing?
Oh my God. Oh, various and sundry things. I got a bunch of reviews to do for Astonishing Swordsman. Basically, I'm trying to clear my palate because near the end of the year or the beginning of next, Survive This Fantasy is coming out. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping I will get a copy for review because Eric Bloat's stuff is really good. And the engine is really good, the game engine. Mm-hmm. Same engine for like Vigilante City and his zombies and other things like that. Mm-hmm. And also it's getting me all hyped up for a Hyperborea again.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I just did a module. I can't even pronounce the damn name of it. For Hyperborea, the Zagamorphs of Zagathoria or something like that. Uh-huh. But the main thing is you come to this village at the edge of the desert, which has a caste system, and they have this slave caste, which are basically, they're kind of like descended from the Eskimo. Only they're in the desert and stuff.
Right.
And they've turned cannibal.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, they're being duped back actually by a couple of guys who are not a couple of guys. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to do any spoilers. But the thing is, in the town, they said after they ring the evening bell, you're supposed to stay in. Otherwise, you're in danger of being captured or sacrificed or eaten. Mm-hmm. And I hear it's based on a Howard story. Mm-hmm. And my first comment was, set them free. Get them out of there. Why are you hanging on to these slaves if they're going to eat you?
Yeah.
I mean, my God, get them out of there. It's like, you're free. Go.
It's a Howard thing. I mean,
definitely a Howard thing.
They just kind of there are slaves here. Okay, and that's what they are, and you don't do anything about it. It happens.
Yeah.
That's just that. I mean, it sounds like they took a couple of plot points from Ravenous, which is a fun movie. I recommend it highly.
Yeah, Jeff Talanian and I guess some of his writers, they really were. I mean, yeah, the game's all set up to be like Howard and Clark Ashton Smith and all these other guys, you know, and it's great, it's fun, but they do take a lot of inspiration from the stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was another one that I ran before, which was basically Rogues in the House, mixed with another story from Howard, and it was good. It was real good. One of I think 10-Foot Pole reviews their modules, and he complains all the time that they're too literary.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
his
can see
thing.
that.
He says, I want my modules to be, you know, succinct and just help me. Don't sit there and, you know, write a novel around stuff. And I don't think they do. It's just that I think they write a little too much for his taste.
Mm-hmm.
Dragonlance problem.
Yeah,
The replica adventures of the Dragonlance saga, replicating the novels, are over literary. They uber track you, and you don't have the maneuver room that a party requires to play.
I agree.
You're supposed, they want you to follow the script.
Right.
And if you go off script, you're left flapping.
Well, these aren't railroads or anything. I'm not saying they're railroads or anything. It's just you know, there's too much fluff.
Yeah, too much prose.
You know, too much. I guess if it was TSR, it would be too much Gygaxian, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, trust me, I'm going through couple of his modules, and yeah, you have to parse it.
But what I do like is the fact that they make sure that, like, you know, the module they just did, they do a bullet point after every room. What's in here? What's going on?
Right.
And he doesn't like the idea. Then I got to read the description to find out if there's anything I missed. Well, then miss it. Just use the bullet points. And I also like they bold stuff that's important.
Right.
Well, which is good, because that way I can just like skim through it.
Makes sense.
And blah 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 blah. You know, if there are any treasures or traps or NPCs, they'll bold it.
Right.
Which is good. What else? I've been watching a few movies, some anime that's kind of warped my brain a bit.
You're welcome.
Keep
going. Well, you're only into you're not even past episode 2 yet on the first thing, so trust me. Just dive in.
I know. Well, it just so happens I got all this other stuff to watch too. I've been on a Bogart kick lately. Starting a Bogart kick. I watched Casablanca the night before, and last night I watched The Big Sleep.
And
I've got
the Maltese Falcon far behind?
Oh, it's there. I've also, one of my favorite movies of his is The Harder They Fall, which was his last movie. Because I think he quit. I'd love to go out the way he went out. Because yes, he was sick, but you couldn't tell it watching the movie.
Right. And
what's fun about that movie is it's also got, what's his name? I don't want to, what the hell is that guy's name?
Which guy? Name stuff he's done.
He's one of the actor studio guys with Brando and stuff. I want to say Marty, but he did the TV version of Marty, not Ernest Borgnine's movie version. Shoot, I can't think of anything.
Yeah.
But, my Persoff's in it and a few of these other guys. It's all about the boxing game and stuff like that. And, okay, time to drive Glenn crazy.
Hold on, Glenn. Hold on.
No.
I got you.
I got you. It's okay. I pulled the damn thing off the shelf. I'm going to look at it. All right.
Okay.
All right. Oh, shush. I'm looking at his face and going, nope, can't think of it.
1956, right?
let me see.
Yeah, Humphrey Bogart, Rod Steiger, Jan
Rod
Ster-
Steiger.
Rod Steiger, okay.
Rod Steiger. Him and Rod Steiger is in there. And Maya Persoff, who's also a method actor.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Bogart and Steiger in the same scene is fascinating. Because Steiger, you can tell, is doing method stuff. You know, he's acting, you know, like, okay, this is my character, this is what it is. And Bogart's just being Bogart.
Mm-hmm.
And he's stealing the scene.
Of course he is.
By just being Bogart.
Well, that's how he made his career, by just being Bogart.
I'm not saying Rod Steiger's bad.
No, Rod Steiger's a great actor.
He's a great actor, but you know, you go up against an old Hollywood guy.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's like when you got a guy who's just doing what he does against a method guy, it's the difference is rather considerable.
Now you get Rod Steiger later on in his career.
Yeah, when he's older, yes.
And he's got the experience like Bogart has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying he's bad there, but he can hold his own better when he's older.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
With experience. True.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, he's emoting all over the place, and Bogart's just standing there.
Listen, crazy kid, you get off of my lines.
Yeah, that was Clint Eastwood and Gran Torino for sure.
Yep. Oh, also I've been doing, of course, you know, Radio Grognard.
Of course.
And Tuesday's episode is a challenge.
Why is that a challenge?
It's a challenge because I watched, what was it? One of the YouTube videos I watch gaming videos all the time, and one of them is called DM Table.
Right.
Or GM Table. Yeah, GM Table. I can't remember the guy's name, but he talks, once again, somebody was talking about dice fudging. And it's like, I started the thing as, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Because you know how I feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what I do, and about 2 minutes into the video, I'm thinking to myself, why are we even talking about this?
Because it's a topic of discussion. Yeah,
but I mean, this should not, you know, whether I fudge my dice is none of their damn business.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%.
But then again, there is the issue of trust.
Mm-hmm.
You want to trust them. You want them to trust you.
Right.
That's gotta be considered. But as he talked, I got the idea where he's saying, you know, if I roll an encounter with, say, an ogre or something, and the ogre rolls real good, you know, what is going to, you know, first of all, he said, I don't lie to my players.
Right.
I do not lie to my players. And it's like, well, I guess that's admirable. But he says, if they roll real good, they're going to roll real good. And, you know, if it's a TPK, it's a TPK.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, he said, what can I do aside from fudging the dice to keep this encounter on track? Or he says, don't ever think of it as your game. It's our game, everybody's game. It's like, I agree with that. That's something I agree with.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm the engineer I'm the guy on the lever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the engineer. Everybody else are like the conductors. I'm the engineer. You're telling me what to do, but I got to drive the train.
The thing is, you have more than one lever you can pull. You have many gauges to look at and more than one lever and dial and knob and chain you can pull, which is where if you're not going to fudge dice, which you may or may not as you choose to see fit for whatever reason, you can alter the stats. You can alter the conditions. You can alter the you can alter the existing hit points and say, you know what? That guy was in a fight earlier. He actually has half his hit points now.
Right.
Than he started with. Because if I don't, they're all going to die.
Right.
Or I want them all to die. And this guy, you pissed me off. He took a healing potion and has all of his hit points back now.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I loathe to say engineer because then everybody's going railroad. But
well, you did use the train metaphor.
I shouldn't have used the train metaphor. But the point is, he brought that up too. I don't fudge my dice rolls. I don't change my opponent's AC in the middle of battle. I don't change their hit points. And it's like, okay, fine. I now have a personal challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see my next GMing if I do not roll the dice. I mean, if I do not fudge dice rolls or do any of this, what can I do to make this fight memorable and survivable?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I say survivable, I mean, like, you may not be
one person
attacked.
left with 1 hit point who can raise everyone else, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you've got somebody there with 1 hit point, that doesn't mean that opponent has to finish him off. If this guy drops and he wants to, do something vile to his body, like swing him around and stuff, but you got another guy charging at him, what's he going to do? Sit there and play with the dead body or kill this other guy?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of thing. Kind of thing.
Right.
Maybe I'd decide going into the fight they're not up to snuff. Maybe there's weak ones. Maybe there's somebody with a cold or something like that. I will even give players roles, things like perception rolls and things like that, to say, okay, fine, this giant monster stepped on you and he did a hell of a lot of damage.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to do something like, okay, and that's like over your hit points. Well, tell you what, roll a luck roll, perception roll, dexterity roll, whatever, and they make it. I said, okay, you found like a shallow area where that monster stepped, where you're like partially in a hole. So you have 1 hit point left. I will leave you with 1 hit point. And, I want to see how, I don't want to kill players, but I sure like to see them suffer.
Well,
I recently did another episode about the save or die mechanic. It is called Save or Maim.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, yeah, I don't mind characters losing a limb or getting a scar or having their eye pop out or something like, hey, you lived, right? Okay, fine. So I'm taking that as a personal challenge next time I do it. I want to see, because to me, if I can do that without, fudging stuff, that tells me I'm a better GM than I think I am.
One of the tools I use to make it so that I don't have to necessarily fudge in combat stats or actively fudge in combat stats is I despise average hit points. So
I know you always roll them.
I always roll them, but that means I have a range, which means I have some that pre-existing to the encounter starting have low hit points, medium hit points, high hit points. Now, the order of appearance of which one of those is token 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 is up for debate. I don't have to take them the order of appearance on the page.
True.
Or the order of appearance in the stat block and tick them off one at a time in line.
It's true.
I can present the appropriate combatant to the appropriate person as I see fit or as they earn by doing appropriate actions, looking for the weak guy to go jump on. They pick the one that has 6 hit points instead of the one that has 36 hit points.
That I would accept.
And if I need to fudge a hit, if I need to change an armor class in mid-combat, maybe he has a shield. He gets pissed and he throws it at someone because he's really mad and wants to go two-hander now.
Right. In my page layout program, I made a sheet with blank lines, and on top it said HD. So you put HD 1, 2, 3, whatever, and then just roll some hit dice, and just have a sheet of hit dice there for however tough the monster is. 1 hit die, 2 hit die, 3 hit die, 4, etc., etc. And you can choose off that sheet whether you want a weak party, a strong party, a mixed party.
Yeah, that works. That's just too much work for me.
Well, that's why I never printed it. It's like, yeah, this is nice.
Well, the only way
that's the kind of thing I put on Facebook saying, hey, anybody want this?
Yeah. Oh, the way I did it is that, especially when it came to opposition, when it came, like you say, you have like 10 ogres in a lair that the party's going to be going into. Of course, I roll, I roll like one set of 4+1 hit dice. Whatever that result is, that's going to be the strongest ogre in the room. And then I take a D4 or a D6, depending. I think it more or less depends on how many hit dice the monster has. But I'll take a D4, and instead of it being 1 to 4, it's 0 to 3. And then I roll that, and it's like, okay, I come up with a 2. Subtract 1, that's 1. Okay. There's an ogre in there with 1 less hit point all the way down to the bottom. That way. And it comes out well that way. That way, I just don't have to sit there and roll multiple sets of 4+1. I can do it once and then just modify as it goes.
You mean you can't roll enough? You can't roll enough hit dice at one time for your entire ogre lair?
Yeah, I could.
Just in one big pile and just go slice.
That's another way. That's another way to do it.
Yeah,
I never thought of that. You could just roll a gang hit dice and then just divide it up.
Okay, but you'd need 40 D8s to pull it off. That's the problem.
That's not you. Who considers that a problem?
I don't have 40 D8s, and I have a pretty sizable dice collection.
I have a pretty robust dice rolling program that can do that.
That's what I do. Yeah. Nice little dice rolling app.
When I prep, I rarely roll dice. I pull up my dice app off my phone.
Yep.
Occasionally, I just poke a finger at AD&D Core Rules 2.0 and say, "Fire 1, party, engage." As long as it's not Drow Elves, it works, usually.
Anyway, that's pretty much what I'm going through. So
and that's
it's going to be fun if I ever get to run again.
Patience, Glenn. It will happen. We just have to hang in there. That's all it is. Don't give in to despair. That leads to the dark side. Anyway.
So says a crazy old man with force powers.
Hey, the crazy old man with force powers was kind of right, even though he lied. But anyway, let's not get off on that track.
We got emails to get to.
I have one email. It's medium-sized, but okay. This is from DM Rob.
All right.
Hello, DM Rob. How you doing today?
He says, "Dearest Hammer Wielders, I've finally done it. After years of careful planning and manipulation, I got my wife completely sucked into my 2nd edition Dragonlance game.
Holy moly!
In parentheses, more on your misinformed dislike of Dragonlance in a future email. In parentheses. When I read that, I'm like, I'm not reading another one until I actually read it out loud. Okay. So he says, we're on session 19, and when I saw her flipping through the arms and equipment guide last week on a day when we weren't even playing, I knew I had her. She's also reading the novel Tales of Uncle Trapspringer to be able to better understand her character, who's a Kender. Oh my God. Okay. I'm going to take my dislike of Kender and set it over there for now. And you should see the incredible journals she writes in the voice of her character after every session. My plan started about 6 years ago. My wife is a huge fan of the TV show Supernatural, and I discovered the Supernatural RPG. I'd convinced, yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? I convinced my regular gaming group to give it a try and got my wife to the table for her first ever game because of its connection to the show. She played a barista who got swept up into the world of mythical creatures, and before I noted, she was totally into it. It didn't hurt that she tried to kill Krampus with an oversized candy cane in the 2nd episode. Sessions are called episodes in the game. Okay. Ugh. Okay, that's a little pretentious, but I'm going to leave that alone. Instantly creating a legendary and often retold moment for her as a player, nor did the fact that another player nicknamed her character Folgers because of her love of coffee. That's good. I like that. Yeah, that is rather supernatural-ish. Still, as fun as the Supernatural RPG is, it's not D&D, so my plan wasn't complete. I slowly eased her into it by continuing that game, but throwing in other crunchier systems as well in other genres she was a fan of, like the Dresden Files, and some sci-fi like Serenity/Firefly and Alternity, the old TSR version. You see where I'm going with this? Yeah, I see where I'm picking up what you're putting down. Let's see. Finally, after the birth of my son, I had to quit running the regular D&D game that I was running online due to scheduling issues. It had lasted several years, and my wife knew that I was bummed out about ending it. So I threw it out there that I wanted to try out this Dragonlance game with what was now our gaming group because D&D was my favorite, and I was really missing it. Reluctantly, she gave it a shot, and now Tick Tick Bramblebing is now her favorite character ever. So my question for you is this. What is the best conversion job you've ever done? Who was the most reluctant person you ever got to the table who was truly converted to role-playing, D&D in particular? I'd love to hear your stories. Thanks, DM Rob. P.S. I'm up to about episode 95 now, and I'm loving every episode. Keep up the great work.
But everybody I've done, I've converted to has been at least receptive to it.
Uh-huh.
So there's that.
Right, yeah. So, I'm in the same boat. Everyone that I've played or run D&D for, they've all either been veterans of the game or veterans of RPGs in particular. So I've never actually brought someone in, who's a complete and total virgin, so to speak. Well, no, I take that back. My first ex-fiance, she got into it. She didn't think she would like it until we sat down and created her character. God, how could I have forgotten about this? Wow. But yeah, she came into it cold, and after the first session, she was kind of hooked. And it was fun. It was cool. It was good. But I think that's the only one. Full on.
You're right.
Well, I have had tables where there have been novice players who joined the game or came to the game and continued, and some who didn't. Mm-hmm. I didn't actively go out recruiting novice players, so I don't consider any of those to be conversions of the unwashed masses who don't know how to have fun.
Well said.
I have done the enticement from one system to another and got some people into D6 Star Wars or other such things, and had fun with that. Got people to get out of their mechs and do some mech warrior instead of just BattleTech, and vice versa. So integrating systems that way and being dynamic in what you play and how you play it works with all comers. I haven't, other than that, really had any instances of targeting a non-gamer for the exclusive purpose of recruiting to become a gamer. It's usually been people who are on board with the idea who seek me out, or at least seek out a table, and then we all just run with it from there.
Right.
And meet up by happenstance.
Right. I get that, but yeah. I mean, but my ex came to it from a natural kind of source of curiosity. She'd always heard about it, but she never really had the gumption to try it. And then I said, okay, well, let's see what we can do about that. And I made her character, and the funny part is I decided to tie her character to a high priest of a faith in a particular town because his name and her name, or her character's name, I should say, were so similar. I said, you want to know what? I'm just going to, this is who your dad is. This is who your father is. So yeah, that's how that came about. But
who's your dad?
Yeah, exactly. Considering the faith that they both were, the God they both worshipped. Yeah. Yeah, that was actually a legitimate question. But anyway.
You snorted. I never heard you snort before.
I did.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
no, I did. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
no,
I
did. No.
Yeah,
no.
you did. You heard that.
No. Okay. I'll let it pass, and if I did, I'll just edit it out later. So there.
I won't. You gonna edit that out too?
Yeah. No, actually, I won't. Anyway.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
I'm done.
Yeah. So yeah. Thanks for the email, Rob.
Thanks, Rob.
We have been kicking around the idea of reviewing Dragonlance, but these two jokers don't have any real interest in doing it. Well, no, I should say
I never
Glenn,
said that.
I was correcting myself. I said Glenn doesn't have an interest, and you have a rather critical opinion of it. So
yeah, but that's a good thing then.
Oh,
I don't necessarily have I have a critical opinion of the modules that they put out.
Well, as do I.
And the world setting I have played around in the past, and probably to the detriment of having a lost in the sauce DM who didn't have the ability to make a creative story that would seem engaging, because you're not Han Solo, you're not wrestling, you're not shit. Now in the world. So that the problem of fun to read, bad to play exists in the world unless you can break that dynamic. We've done that in other games. In my Robotech game, our GM actively had to make sure that we were on the far side of the solar system to prevent us from altering the canon events of the story. Because we could. And being people who are able to make that effect on the game are what a lot of people play for. Whether they intend to or not,
I know.
Having it be understood that your story matters in the greater context is important for the players. And if their story doesn't matter because X, Y, and Z is going to happen anyway and everybody knows it, you lose a lot of care.
I tend to agree.
Yeah, you know what? That's a
good. There are interesting things in the Dragonlance setting. There are interesting characters. There are interesting classes. There are interesting systems. But handcuffing yourself to the book is the problem.
Yeah.
Free yourself from that, and you can have a lot of fun.
Well, and go ahead, Glenn.
It's an interesting thing. You do that with a lot of systems that are too hidebound. You do that with the Forgotten Realms, too, putting them on another side of the world or another continent. I played a 3-5 campaign one time where the GM had us all colonists in what would be the Forgotten Realms equivalent of North America. You know, where Mazteca is and all that, down below.
South America. Or excuse me, Central America, sorry.
No, North America.
Yeah, it's over there too.
We were in the equivalent of, I think, Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Or something like that. I mean, we had colonists. We had the town of New Cormier. And I even got to play a trapper, which was great. I played a French-Canadian trapper type guy, a ranger. And it was a good campaign. And she didn't have to deal with any of the BS of what was established in the realms or anything.
That's such a cop-out for a DM who runs the realms. But go ahead.
Why is it cop-out?
Because
it won't be for long, because the Red Wizards are going to show up and try to infiltrate the trading outposts and set up their own mercantile.
They already had.
Well, my point is that is one of the most annoying arguments about the Forgotten Realms. It's like, oh, there's Driz walking around, there's Elminster walking around. You can adventure from first level to 20th in one particular region of the realm and never run into them. No, the DMs...
And even as much as they filled in the map on the Forgotten Realms, and here's this adventure at this locale, and here's this Baldur's Guide book here, there, or the other, or everywhere, they're really just designed to be open plot hooks that nothing is written here other than a hook. Play with it.
Yep.
Anybody can play with it however they like. They're not tied to any of the novels or any of the modules. So go for it. And you can do that in one place. You can do that hopping around.
Yeah. And there are plenty of places in the Forgotten Realms that basically their regions are one or two sentences, maybe a small paragraph, and the region is pretty much open for the DM to throw in whatever the heck he wants to.
You know, I didn't bring this up to bring that old argument up.
I know, but it just annoys me. It annoys me to no end how people bag on it because of that.
She wanted to she wanted to trailblaze in her own area, which is okay with me.
Fair enough.
You know, we had three different types of people there. We had I think we had Native American elves and something else, and it was an interesting campaign. But that's one way to do it. Move it one continent over or something.
Yeah.
Hey, anytime you want, you can point at any blank spot of the map and say, let's play there. And if you run out of blank spots of the map, you point at the edge and say, let's play there.
Yep. Well, the problem with Dragonlance is that the stories, and no, I'll get some pushback on this. The stories themselves in the novels were so well done, and the characters were so well done that people got ridiculously attached to them. I mean, Tanis, Raistlin, and freaking Tasselhoff being the top three. And the thing is that when you played in Dragonlance, it didn't help that TSR made the soup to nuts, railroad of DLs 1 through 16. That we've talked about that for years. That was the first problem they had. The second problem is they tried to stuff everything into one hardback book, and that was their second mistake. It needed a box set from the beginning, like they did with Forgotten Realms because they had to, like they did with Greyhawk because they had to. There was too much there, and that's what.
And how many Forgotten Realms box sets are there now?
Shoot. At least 15.
Done that with Dragonlance,
yeah.
They could have still been selling product.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point.
They could have leaked it out in drips and drabs. Mistar.
No, they did Mistar correctly. They did it correctly. What the gazetteers they put out.
They could have done that with Dragonlance. They put out 14 gazetteers, 4 creature crucibles, and a box set, Dawn of the Emperors. And I'm not even counting Hollow World.
No, exactly.
Hey, I will say one great thing for Dragonlance. Soft escaped. He escaped to Ravenloft, but okay.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, well, I know. I read that story. I read that story. It was great. But my point is that then the other mistake they made when they gave Dragonlance a second edition treatment, they should have gone back to square one. They should have said, okay, this is what's going on in the main story. Here are several plot hooks and adjuncts to the main story that your party can do where they can become just as important as the heroes of the Lance. The problem is, I don't know if someone, whether it was Tracy or Margaret, I don't know who it was, and I have nothing but respect for those two, but I don't know who it was, but someone got a little too possessive of their world. If you're going to make a campaign world from a set of novels, it needs to have broad scope. The problem is that the scope was too narrow, and by the time they got the second,
or at least blank spots. Yeah, at least blank spots and open margins.
Mm-hmm. And
that worked out real well for Forgotten Realms.
And the problem is that by the time they gave Dragonlance the second edition treatment, they decided just to go completely the other way. They just said, okay, everything in second edition Dragonlance is going to go after the War of the Lance, where hardly anyone has any interest in playing. That everyone wants to be part of the War of the Lance. That's the massive selling point.
See,
and they missed it.
See, this is what I have problem with that and stuff like Star Wars, is the fact that I don't really want to play in something that just revolves around one epic thing, like the War of the Lance, like the Clone Wars.
That's where Star Wars gets it better than Dragonlance, because you've got, 6,000 years of playground documented to give you guidance, and you're not even restricted to that.
Yeah.
You can go from back before lightsabers existed and they were still forging weapons of steel to the, 100 years after the last Skywalker died.
Mm-hmm.
And everywhere in between, and the whole galaxy has a hiccup and a reset and a hiccup and a reset, and if you want lots of Sith, no Sith, lots of Jedi, no Jedi, lots of armies, no armies.
Yep.
easy travel, hard travel. It's all there. You just pick an era and you play.
Yep.
And it's easy to do so.
Yep.
And you're not handcuffed to saying, hey, by the way, we actually make sure if you're on Alderaan today, be at a spaceport with the engine running.
Yeah, be within running distance of your ship.
It's going to go bad for the campaign if you don't. Well, then don't do that to your party. Come on.
Yeah, no kidding.
Good point. Good point. You have a good point, because as far as like, I am so sick of hearing the words Clone Wars. It's like I watched the movies. I watched the first Jenny, whatever his name is, cartoon, and that's enough Clone Wars for me. I understand what happened. I don't need any more. I don't need any more 10,000 stories of the Naked City, and this is one of them. Thank you.
Okay, just take season 7. That will satisfy your needs that you don't know you have.
Mm-hmm. And my whole thing is and that's the thing about it. And that was what the great thing was, even with Star Wars back in its D6 incarnation. They even said, it's like, look, you can play in this universe and you never encounter Luke Skywalker or Han Solo or Princess Leia, even though they wrote the first couple of adventures with Princess Leia in it, but I will leave that alone. And they basically said, the galaxy is a huge place. You can do what you want to do within this galaxy, and it won't affect anything. Or if your GM is allowing it, it can affect things in a secondary way, and so forth and so on.
Or in a primary altering way. You can play the what if campaign. It doesn't matter. Rip the Band-Aid off and do what the hell you want.
Yeah, exactly.
What if any campaign. Anyway, thank you very much for the argument you started.
That wasn't an argument.
That's all I got to say about that. And all right, yeah, send us stuff. Send us stuff to argue about it. It's great. THACOshammer@gmail.com. We love it.
Yeah.
It's our meat and drink. Let me tell you, if we don't come out of this with bruises, there's something wrong.
I don't. Hey, I'm not fighting.
Okay.
I'm just trying to make my point. That's all.
Okay. Let's go on to people skills.
Pretty sure we have time to bury them, fellas.
Hell with them fellas. Buzzards gotta eat, same as worms.
How can you shoot women, children? Easy. You just don't lead them so much. Ain't war hell?
When shall I find a new adversary so close to my own level?
Try the local sewer.
People skills.
I just made my point. People skills. The bounty hunter. I glanced and said, I thought it was the Blunt Hunter. Oh, the Blunt Hunter kit featuring Cheech and Chong.
That's something. Yeah, that's completely different. Yeah, that's something completely different. Need D20 modern for that.
And be from Jamaica. So.
No, you don't have to hunt blunts down there. They just hand them to you. Anyway.
That's right. That's from the Complete Thief's Handbook.
That's from Chronic and Blunt Man. Yeah.
Yes, the Bounty Hunter kit from the Complete Thief's Handbook. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. There's 2 bounty hunters. One's named Pedro. The other the Man. Okay.
Oh boy. Anywho, yeah. I just
like the Dark Avenger. This is another example of how you can be Batman.
Yes. Yeah, you can be Batman. You can play it however you want to play it.
You can play Han Solo in D&D.
Yeah, you could. Well, my whole thing is that I would say probably this should be a universal kit. It really should. As a matter of fact, this is just one of those kits that just shouldn't be tied to a class. Because a fighter can be a bounty hunter, a thief can be a bounty hunter.
The swashbuckler literally appeared in 2 splat books because there's the bounty hunter kit and then there's the bounty hunter job, and that bounty hunter job can be adapted to a whole lot of kits.
I agree with you. Yeah, I'm saying that any class can play it, just like they tried to justify that any player can be an assassin, even though I disagree with it 100%. But then again, that comes from my old school beginnings of D&D, where the assassin was a class and it had its own particular set of skills, if I dare quote Liam Neeson. And
if I work the situation out, I've got a 120% chance of assassination. My weapon of choice is delayed blast fireball. What's the problem?
Exactly. That's now you have a 14th level wizard who's casting right, got it. Okay, so the way they describe it is that the kit basically describes it as the bounty hunter being a ruthless mercenary, worshiping little beside the price on its target's head, recognizing few laws save the contractual distinction between kill and capture. That's a little basic but true. I mean, there's a little bit of wiggle room in there. It's not quite that bad. But, they could be serving the state by capturing criminals, bringing them to justice, or they could serve the lords of the underworld, avenging the twisted honor among thieves and criminals, and so forth and so on. Let's see. As far as the actual qualifications for the kit goes, it basically says that every score the character has to be a minimum of 11, except for charisma. He has to be relatively smart. Be relatively street smart. I get it. It makes sense.
You gotta be a little above average on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Another requirement is that their alignment be non-lawful. I'm not so sure about that, but especially if they're working for the state. But I get it. I understand what they're trying to do here. And
a 3 charisma.
Yeah, you could.
You have all 11s and a 3 charisma. You're
being hunted by the mask.
You're being Charles Bronson in Death Wish.
Hey, he had to have at least an average charisma. How else did he get married? Anyway. True. Yeah, never mind what happened to him. Happened to his wife and his daughter. We'll just not talk about that. But anyhow, let's see. One of the bonuses of the class is that they can use any weapon at all. That's a part of their persona and their public image. Bounty hunters go off of image more than assassins go, as assassins go off of secrecy and stealth. Sometimes a bounty hunter will get a proficiency in a rare weapon just to build up his reputation, so to speak. Like a bounty hunter being proficient in the man catcher, which kind of actually works. But yeah, things about that. He gets a bonus weapon proficiency slot at first level.
Nets.
What's that?
Nets and lassos.
Yeah, nets, lassos. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
whips,
Yeah, sure, of course. Makes perfect sense to me. Let's see.
I can grab somebody and hold on to them.
Exactly. Tie them up, restrain them, restrict their movement. Sure, I get. Yeah, perfectly. Okay. As far as non-weapon proficiencies, the one that's required is tracking. Now, the problem with that is that's 3 proficiency slots. 2 for the proficiency, 1 because you're going outside of the thing. I would actually, and we've had this discussion about this particular proficiency, I would give it to the kit as a free proficiency.
Sure.
Because Rangers are the ones who are, who apparently are so highly skilled at it. And then by showing that everyone is at the most average in comparison to the Ranger, they, cut the bonuses and so forth. But anyway, let's see.
All right, at least make it authorized to be a, if you don't have the proficiency, but you had the class ability because you multi-classed, it would be effective as well.
I agree.
One-for-one equivalency.
Yeah. I mean, this kit would be better served if your character was either dual class or a multi-class fighter thief, but that's just my opinion on it. Because as we all know, thieves are relatively sucky in combat, straight up. I mean, I'm not even talking about hit points and being squishy. I'm talking about just their ability to hit and hurt the opposition.
I like my Ranger thieves.
Yeah, I like mine too. I only made one of the best characters I ever made. Let's see. Their skill progression as far as their thieving skills go, they make frequent use of all thief skills except perhaps pickpockets. So basically they're kind of saying that, they'll use, of course, move silently, hide in shadows, open locks, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't be as possibly penchant towards using pickpockets. Let's see. Of course, equipment. They usually take interest in items for killing and capturing their prey. Things such as blade boots, death knives, folding bows, that kind of stuff. Ropes for taking live prisoners. Setting snares, of course. Perhaps using blinding or paralytic poisons to incapacitate their prey is another thing that they would do. Let's see. They don't usually use deadly poisons. It says here, that's more the province of the assassin. If they're out to kill a fugitive, they don't care about how messy it's going to be, and I kind of agree with that. Let's see. They get a bonus. I'm trying to find the actual table here, but they get a bonus to one of their skills, and they get a penalty to another one. If you give me a moment, I can certainly find it. So yeah, I could see. I think I've used like a dwarven fighter thief with the bounty hunter kit in a campaign. I never got to actually use him because
too many damn elven bounty hunters around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
ain't fair to us human bounty hunters.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, it's just one. It's an interesting kit to take, although it's kind of, because their loner nature, it's kind of a little weird to put a bounty hunter in an adventuring party unless there's an ulterior motive for it to be done.
Right.
But yeah, it would be okay in like a solo campaign. But yeah, I couldn't see it for anything more than that, really.
I give it to the casual.
There are lots of things you can define a bounty hunter as what they take bounties on. They can take it on bail jumpers.
Mm-hmm.
They can take it on wanted criminals. They can take it on open pay for play bounties of, my chosen targets are orcs. I'm a bounty hunter for orcs because they're paying for orc ears.
Yep.
And I'm going to go bring me in a bunch of orc ears and get paid.
Yep. I get that. Oh, I found that.
I may have one orc I keep in an alley with a ring of regeneration on, and I just keep cutting his ears off, but they don't have to know that.
I like that idea.
I'd do a troll bounty hunter.
That's what happens when you have a thief bounty hunter as opposed to a ranger thief bounty hunter, because he might actually be good and actually going to go get them goblins.
Mm-hmm.
Goblin Slayer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, troll bounty hunters would be the easiest if you keep one locked up. Forget the orc. Just put a troll in there and just, got another set of ears? Good. It's whack.
Mm-hmm. And I found the table that I was looking for. Bounty Hunter kit, they get a +5 bonus to find and remove traps, and a -5 penalty to climbing walls, which sort of kind of makes sense. I
would have a bounty hunter in a group, in a campaign, because there's nothing saying, because bounty hunters, if that's their job, I've seen enough westerns, spaghetti westerns and other westerns with bounty hunters where look at Rooster Cogburn. He may be a marshal, but he's always got, some kind of papers on somebody. And the same thing.
Wanted list.
The man with no name, the bounty killers, same thing.
Yep.
Okay, here's like 3. They always carry like around 4 or 5 wanted posters. So as they're adventuring, they keep their eyes out.
Right.
Maybe this guy's running with you got a problem with these orcs. Maybe the guy who organized it is wanted in another kingdom for something else. You want to bring him in for the reward.
Yep.
Dead or alive. But,
yeah, dead or alive. Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd have him in the party. He'd be doing his job while he's running around with them.
Right. I mean, I could see, as a DM, of course, I can see, playing a bounty hunter with, a group of like 30, 30 mooks in his employ trying to hunt the party down, and spending like, a month just studying, his selected prey, and, studying who he hangs out with and what they do and so forth and so on. Then, of course, arranging an ambush like so, and the party, of course, has to fight their way out, and you're going to say, I'm going to keep following you to the ends of the earth, elf. And then, of course, the players being who they are and being murder hobos, they probably try to kill them right there. That kind of thing.
And thank you for giving me the idea for my next character.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
anyway.
yeah,
look at Boba Fett.
Yeah, that's well, that's that was the inspiration. I don't even know why I did that, but yeah, that's one. But he also is such a freaking badass. No matter what Star Wars gaming system that you use him in, he's just one of those where he's going to be recurring if somebody can, of course, afford the services.
That's because he's one of those guys who is he's Batman crazy prepared.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
his whole suit's his utility belt.
Yep, very much so.
Crazy prepared.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Or any of the other post-war Mandalorians who are out there doing the bounty hunter trade, or everybody else in the bounty hunter guild. Why, you may even have a bounty hunter guild, because you got a thieves guild, you got an assassins guild, you have a bounty hunter guild. They send people out to go get people. They might want people alive, they might want people dead, they might want bad people, they might want good people. As long as someone's paying for people, there's a bounty hunter who's going to go get them people.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, for what I've seen on TV, the Mandalorians make Boba Fett look like Jar Jar Binks.
I disagree, but okay. I know I have to watch The Mandalorian. I know I do.
You know from whence I speak, full on.
I know.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay.
Season 2 coming soon.
I mean, being crazy prepared as a religion.
Yep. Well, of course. Well, never mind. I'm not even going to get into that.
Season 7 already out.
Yep.
Just watch it.
Mm-hmm.
What's that meme? If you being a good person is walking into the room, being suave and nice, and having a plan to kill every single person in that room.
No comment.
Yeah.
No comment.
From whence I say. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. No, I'm done.
I'm done too.
Well, I mean, it's one of these things where, at least to me, I mean, the fighter kits and the thief kits, in these first two Splat books, they kind of didn't give quite enough. I mean, or at least the way I see it, in some kits they didn't give quite enough. In some they gave too much. So I think there just need to be a little bit more flavoring for that kit to make it, worthy of a player wanting to play it. But then, of course, we have those crazy role players who will play literally anything that comes to mind.
I know a few.
Mm-hmm. As do I. Okay.
I mean, you could take the Manhunter, and that is a fighter version of a bounty hunter. You have the bounty hunter, which is the rogue version of a bounty hunter. You could take the spell filcher and just add one word to that, spell user filter, and now you have the mage version of a bounty hunter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I could see spell filters being bounty hunters for sure. That's well within their purview. It's not just magical items that they seek, but yeah, they could also
or spell users.
Yeah, spell users, spell books. Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it all works. You know?
It does. Just requires an imaginative DM, or excuse me, an imaginative player and the DM who is willing to say, okay, you can roll with that. That's all it takes.
Yep.
Late season appearance in Kung Fu with Kane, and he had his battle against the guy who came from China to hunt him down. Monk bounty hunter.
Yep. So true.
Anyhow. You want to talk about this, folks? Yeah, you want to? Yeah, come on, meet me out in the alley. No, I mean, send us THACO@gmail.com. How about that?
Yeah. You don't want no. Never mind. I was about to say something in really bad taste, and I won't do it. Go ahead, Glenn. Sorry.
Let's go on to Magic Fingers.
The White Wizard approaches.
There's no such thing as magic.
You're always were a better magician. You guys know that. But whatever your secret was, you have to agree. Mine is better.
Magic Fingers. Magic Fingers. Not just for prostitutes.
Or porn stars, for that matter.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Mordenkainen's faithful phantom shield maidens. Oh, that gives me ideas.
Yeah, I bet, doesn't it, though? I mean, you might be disappointed by the actual spell description, but, you know.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the
the giant space shield hamster. Yeah, they're something like that.
Okay, this is page 595 in volume 3. Yeah, volume 3 of the Wizard Spell Compendium. Okay.
And it's a thing, folks.
Yes, it actually is a thing.
What? Hey, do they see where they originally came from?
No.
They originally came. Oh.
No. Well,
if it's a Mordenkainen spell, you know exactly where it came from.
I'm not talking about the campaign world. I'm talking about book.
No, I have no idea where it came from.
But I'm thinking of Encyclopedia Magica. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Magazine spinoff from one of the Wizard 3 things, I'm sure.
Maybe.
Probably.
Or
anyway.
It could have been actually in one of the Greyhawk box sets.
What level is it?
Level 4 spell.
Oh yeah, that's a dragon magazine spell.
Maybe we'll see. Range is 50 yards. Verbal, somatic, and material components. Casting time is 4. Duration is 3 rounds per level. The area of effect is special and no saving throw.
Oh,
okay.
Casting time is 4.
Yes, 4. No, that's pretty much average. It's for a 4th level spell. They usually start
faster than
at 4.
most swords, so yeah.
Yeah, true. Faster than a longsword, or at least right on time with one. But anyway. Okay.
Which is all you need your shield to be, right on time.
Exactly. And speaking of shield, check this out. Okay, this spell summons a pair of shimmering violet phantom beings that will stay on either side of the wizard and protect him from all attackers. The shield maidens stay close enough to the caster for their shields to help cover the wizard. The shield of one maiden will provide the caster with a +1 armor class bonus. If both shield maidens protect the same side of the caster with their shields, the armor class bonus is +2. While the shield maidens can protect the caster from attacks from different directions, they will move no farther than 50 feet away from the caster, even if the wizard orders them to move away. They will follow magically wherever the caster goes. So, yeah. If your wizard decides to cast a fly spell after casting that, and he just goes zoom up into the air, the maidens go with him. So, let's see.
Do you want to live forever?
Exactly. Let's see. The material components are a pair of small crystal shields tied with string to a miniature wooden figure of the caster. They actually have stats for the shield maidens. Armor class 4, movement rate of 12, hit dice 3, hit points 20 each. Damage is 1 to 6 with a big stab with a phantom sphere, and a THACO 17. So
THACO 17. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's about right.
Yeah, I'm thinking of ascending armor class again. I'm sorry.
Armor class 16 if you're going in, 14 if you're going in that direction.
Yeah.
There you go. So this is a nice little protection spell, if the caster thinks he's going to be in actual physical peril. Now he's got two of these magical constructs to protect him from attack and so forth. I thought it was an interesting one. We'll get into.
It's what happens when you put the wizard in the breach.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to close the rest of the gap, and he ain't gonna do it with his fists. So
no, he is not. No, he is not. So yeah, he's got to summon some things, and hopefully that will balance things out. But yeah, I mean, like I said, we're on a run of Mordenkainen spells. I mean, some of them are interesting, some are quite not so interesting. But yeah, this one I thought was pretty interesting because it's a good defensive spell.
Right. I'm waiting for Mordenkainen's twerking.
Oh, I don't even want to think about that.
No. Autoluke's the one who got into all the dances.
Oh, well,
That's
Autoluke's
or Tasha, for that matter.
Yeah. Tasha's twerking maidens.
Yes, I could see that.
Yeah.
Save versus spell or be absolutely riveted, and you cannot. All you can do is watch.
Yep.
So like I said, interesting.
Yeah,
spells.
and you can move them. You can move the two of them to like one side or another, or put them flanking both sides, or
you can move them.
Wow.
Yeah, you can move them to protect a certain side, or you can just have them on either side of you, or both of them guarding your back.
Or cast it again and have two guarding your back flanks.
Yeah, keep you from getting backstabbed.
Yeah,
it's now a protected area.
Yeah,
that'd be cool if you had like stone skin or shield or something in the front, and then have them in the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you're a mage is obsessed with defense, sure.
Most of mine are. That's how they stay alive.
Boom. That's how you stay alive. Bring the boom.
Yeah, we're going into it's the beginning of the day. Oh, shield. Okay, we're good.
Yeah,
I'm good for 8 hours. Let's go.
Well, hey, any low-level mage worth their salt will cast the armor spell, because that will last.
Armor, that's it.
Yeah, that one will last until the hit points of the armor are taken away. So yes,
it's ablative. I'm looking more. Was it? There's not. It's not stone skin's ablative now too. Okay. Yeah, the one
Stone skin was ablative before.
Yeah.
Well, there's
literally
I think it was armor, but they had one where it's just you're armor class this for 8 hours.
Yeah, that's the armor spell.
Yeah, but
it's like armor class 6. It wasn't very high.
Oh, right.
Yeah. I mean, there was another one. It was called Phantom Armor, but that only lasted, I think, like 1 hour per level or something like that. Or no, not 1 hour. It's like 6 rounds per level, because it basically gave you like a base armor class of 4. So
yeah. You could do better with braces of defense or ring of protections or something.
Exactly.
And if you wanted a layered defense, you add yourself a Big B's interposing hand, a chromatic wall, and a wall of force, and you've got a good defense and depth there.
Makes sense.
Good thing you can breathe through these.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Force wall, all this other good stuff. Yeah. Wall of force, rather.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so these gals stick around how long?
3 rounds per level.
And it's a fourth level spell.
So you've got it should last a good combat.
Yeah.
So you say, what is it? 4th level spell? You'd have to be like 7th level.
7.
So it's 7 rounds right there. That's
21 actually.
21 rounds.
21 rounds. Sorry. Well, that's decent. That's decent.
Yeah.
That's good for if you're going up against the dragon.
If you're
That's
going
to take care of the main battle and the reinforcements that showed up before you finished locking the doors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for, you put it on, it's good for at least 3 encounters. Mm-hmm. If they're coming, they're coming pretty steady.
Mm-hmm. And you can also direct them to move over there, or attack this guy who's trying to backstab me or whatever. Right. It's actually got good utility. It's not just something to protect you. You can actually go on the offense with them.
I'm all for utility spells.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're protecting your back, their girl comes down from the ceiling and takes you. or the cloaker drops on you, and that's it.
Exactly. But the problem...
The piercer, yeah.
The piercer, that's bad news. That's just bad news. But yeah. So, yeah, that's the spell.
Mimic in the middle of the trapper underneath the piercers.
Oh.
Go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I forgot Fulla likes to layer his monsters. Stack his monsters.
Yeah, and his traps. It's true.
Yeah, and his traps. Anyway, you know the drill. THACOshammer@gmail.com. Yeah. So time to go on a snipe hunt.
Two fools who laugh at death. Do you know what horrors lie beyond that wall?
No.
Then you go first.
This world's divided into 2 kinds of people, the hunter and the hunted. And luckily, I'm a hunter. Nothing can ever change that.
If it bleeds, we can
kill it.
I'll swallow your soul!
Come get some.
Time for a snipe.
Whoopee, we're on a snipe hunt.
Yep.
Hey, something that our friends across the pond don't understand, but what the hell? It's fun. A were-tiger.
Yep.
Let's go back into lycanthrope area.
Yep. Yeah, we can do that. I'm still shocked we never covered any of these things. These are so I want to say basic, but they are so intrinsic to most of the old school games that I used to play back in the day, because you would run into these things constantly. You know, you were worried about the werewolves, you were worried about the were-rats, the were-bears could be an ally. You know, then of course there's the were-tiger, which could be either one. Because
Mr. No, I'm not a Rakshasa.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, let's see.
See, my limbs don't bend that way.
Yeah. Well, actually, theirs do. But anyway, let's see. They can be found in any wilderness. They're very rare in frequency. Their activity is nocturnal. Carnivores, of course. Intelligence is average. Alignment is neutral. Armor class 3. Movement rate of 12. Hit dice 6 plus 2. Not hit points. THACO's 15. In their tiger form, they attack like tigers. It's 3 attacks a round. Go ahead.
I thought THACO would be a little lower.
No, that's for 6 hit die creatures. THACO 15.
Okay.
Yeah. I've done this.
They're not as they're a little easier to hit than you think.
Yeah, they can hit pretty easily, because that's the equivalent of a 6th level fighter. So yeah.
And they've got the whole silver magic weapons defense thing going for them.
Then there's that too. Let's see. In tiger form, they can attack 3 times a round. 2 claws at 1 to 4 each. Bite is 1 to 12.
Wow.
And if both their claws hit, they can rake with their back paws for 2 to 5 each. So you're talking, what, 4, 8, 20, 30 points of damage in a round if they max out.
4 plus 1. Why don't they just say, I hate when D&D does that. It's like, for this range of points, just say 1d4 plus 1.
They should.
I understand that.
Yeah, they should.
Sit there and figure it out. Anyway, just a minor gripe.
Yeah, no, I understand, but you want to know what that makes me think? Sometimes you have to exercise the gray matter a little bit, just a little bit.
Anything to make Brian think is a good thing on this show.
Yeah, I know. Okay, weird tigers are humans, usually female, that have the ability to transform into tiger-like forms. They have a strong affinity for all felines, of course. The human form tends to be sleekly muscular, taller than average, and very agile. The voices of weird tigers are husky, and they tend to roll their R's.
In other words, they're
they talk ladies, like they talk like Eartha Kitt.
They're the ladies' men of the lycanthropes. Hello, ladies.
Yes, or the man's ladies.
We're going to be very fabuloso today.
Do you think? Yeah, well, there's a reason why they got Antonio Banderas for that.
There's a reason why I have practice for that particular phrase.
Smartest were-tiger in the world over there in the corner with 2 ladies.
Exactly. Let's see. The were-tiger form is a hybrid between a human and a tiger. It's 25% larger than the human form, and it's covered by a tiger-striped hide. 3-foot tail extends from the spine. The legs are more feline than human. This form walks on its toes. Let's see. The head is a mixture of features. The ears, nose, muzzle, and teeth are tiger-like, but the eyes and overall shape are human. If the human form's hair is long, it is still present. The fingernails can grow into claws. Despite the changes, the hybrid form can pass for human at a distance if properly disguised. The third form, of course, is a fully grown tiger without any trace of human features. Weird tigers speak the languages of all feline breeds, and so normal felines, including the great cats, have a 75% chance of being friendly towards a weird tiger.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Even feline monsters have a 25% chance of being automatically friendly. That means that even if you walk up to a displacer beast, there's a 25% chance that the displacer beast might like you. Let's see. However, weird tigers are rarely found in the company of real tigers, being only 5% likely to be accompanied by them.
Yeah, they don't hang around with the poor relatives.
Yeah, of course. Well, of course. Well, you gotta remember, as smart as real tigers are, their intelligence is only semi in game terms.
And tigers are not a pride cat; they are a solitary hunter.
Yes, very much so. Let's see. Combat. In either tiger form, the weird tiger attacks with a variety of punches, raking claws, and bites. The weird tiger's punches are so strong that they cause 1 to 4 points of damage. So this is every form they do this damage in. I did not know that. Oh, that makes things very interesting. I wonder where the tiger style got its start from. Anyway, let's see. Otherwise, the claws can be raked across an opponent, causing 2 to 5 points of damage. The teeth are the most dreadful weapon. They can tear a victim apart or crush a windpipe. Weird tigers usually only bite in their full tiger form. In human form, the weird tiger uses a variety of weapons with which it is adept. A weird tiger is also good at unarmed combat. It retains its deadly punch in this form, as well as an enhanced sense of smell and night vision.
I was going to say I could see tiger monks.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, I could see this. Yeah, this makes perfect sense to me. Okay.
This is why I mentioned it in the previous.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. A weird tiger bounty hunter. Got it. Let's see.
No, the previous brainstorm that we did a podcast or two ago.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about that. You're right. You're absolutely right.
I didn't forget.
I forgot. But then again, that's easy these days.
Wouldn't be talking about it.
Yeah, this is true. Okay, for various reasons, weird tigresses outnumber male weird tigers 5 to 1. Weird tigers travel alone or in small prides. They do not marry but have preferred mates, which may be either humans or tigers. Let's see.
Plot hook just staring me in the face.
Yeah. I'll go into mine once I've finished with the description.
She says you're single.
And I've got the true stories.
Oh boy, here we go. All right. Weird tigers give birth to 1 or 2 cubs. The cubs are the hybrid form. They look like fuzzy human babies with tails. Cubs mature quickly. They can crawl within days, walk within a month, and hunt within a year.
Maybe they're Saiyans instead.
Oh God! Oh no!
Tails.
No! I don't want to go down this avenue. I'll start telling stories about my ex-roommate. I don't need to do that right now. Their physical size matches that of a human child 3 times the same age. Geez, that sounds like my son. Anyway, at age 6, they reach adolescence and gain the ability to transform into a fully human form. Geez, I can read. At age 12, they gain the ability to assume a full tiger form. This is considered the mark of adulthood. Okay, now it gets a little bit...
They have the bar mitzvah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to know what that entails. Okay, this is where it gets a little strange, so hang in there with me. If a male weird tiger mates with either a real tigress or a human woman, the offspring initially has the same appearance as the mother. Lycanthropic transformations do not begin until the hybrid reaches adolescence. That's interesting. Let's see.
Yep.
In the wild, they roam a territory of 7 to 10 square miles. That's 1d4 plus 6 for you, Glenn. Their homes are usually near human settlements. These tend to be well-kept cabins with small herb and vegetable gardens. The only livestock will be some poultry. I think they made some typographical errors here because they're referring to cats as livestock, and I know that's not the case. They must have meant to put something else in there. Okay. Let's see. Weird tigers rarely live in confined settings such as cities or large town because of their lycanthropic nature, would be hard to conceal. If found in such a setting, 1 or 2 weird tigers in human form will be on an errand such as a mission, a revel, or a simple shopping trip. In any form, weird tigers are very confident and not prone to attack unless provoked. Treasure varies wildly, acquired as payment for some services, plunder from past adventures, or scavenged from the remains of past opponents. Weird tigers have an affinity for gems and often keep a small cache hidden somewhere near their homes. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah. as far as Weird Tigers go, I'll tell my story first. I have a 12th level ranger, which I talked about in a previous brainstorm we did. Basically, he was 12th level. Well, he is 12th level, but when he got around 9th or 10th, he was a ranger. He almost sacrificed his life to save the leader of an elven community. And because of his bravery, that's when people and other beings started attaching themselves to him. One was the leader's daughter, who ended up being his wife. The other one was his wife's younger brother, who they had an adversarial relationship, but yeah, let's put it that way. And just like a black bear and a wolf and things like that. You know, typical normal ranger followers until I rolled a 20 on the thing, and the DM decided that he's going to have a weird tiger, a female weird tiger, who decided just on sight alone that the ranger was going to be his mate. Or her mate. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the weird tiger is going to be her mate. You know, the ranger is going to be her mate. And so now there's this interesting little NPC byplay between his wife and this weird tiger who's always trying to seduce the ranger. And it's, you know, it almost turns anime-ish in some instances because of just how far the DM went in describing how this was going. And of course, when I converted him over to my Mystara campaign, I kept all that.
Cat girl snooku.
Well, she wanted to, you know, and if the ranger wasn't married, he'd probably be okay with it, but he's married, so he can't. But
he can't be married. He has a mate. Remember, they don't marry.
No, he's married to the daughter of the community that he helped to save. You know, who ended up being
he's an exception.
Yeah, well, it's like an anime series where the main character's in love with one character, but there's another secondary character who's in love with him and who is always trying to interfere in his relationship with the first one. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, love or Project THACO.
Yes, exactly.
Protagonist.
Exactly. Yeah. A very small harem, but yeah. So yeah, that's my weird tiger story. Full on. This I want to hear.
Well, let's see. I have a 36th level fighter who has the delusional insanity that he is the Cat Lord, because way back in the day when it was still first edition AD&D, when you got afflicted with lycanthropy, this is actually a expert D&D character that I had transitioned to Advanced Dungeons and Dragons when it first rolled out. I had gotten the character up to about, I can't remember if it was 5th or 7th level, survived a were-tiger attack.
Okay.
Got afflicted with lycanthropy. Look in your first edition Dungeon Master's Guide under lycanthropy, and it tells you what to do if you're going to allow the player to continue playing the character. So I have the charts documented for how much damage I take when I do a full transformation while still wearing clothes or armor. I went through the months and months of when I'm driven by the moon before I can actually control myself. I also retreated back to one-hit dice first level and advanced forward again through the levels under my new condition. And you are required to acquire an insanity. The insanity I acquired was delusional insanity. He thinks he is the Cat Lord. And he's been going around actively trying to get rid of the imposter.
Delusion.
The imposter who is more or less a demigod. Or a lesser god, I should say. Okay.
Made it to first edition 36th level. You tell me I can't take on a demigod.
You can't take on a demigod.
Yeah, you can't. How about that?
In first edition, you can.
You could. Yeah, you certainly could. But go ahead.
And I went through the whole play, did the alignment shift, did the playthrough, gaining control of my transformations, went through the continuing to play, and played actively with my delusion, and it was presented as assorted plot hooks at times where it was just not important at other times. When it could crop up, it would. When it didn't matter, it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
And I have actually been playing a were-tiger the majority of my D&D lifetime.
Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow.
That's fun.
Wow.
But I'm familiar with the concept.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'd say so.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, folks,
you win full on. You win.
Folks, we do want to hear your were-tiger stories. We really do. Please send some in at THACOshammer@gmail.com or call them in, too.
Area code 405-806-0555.
You know, it's the first
Where we will respond with a wild and healthy meow.
Yeah. You know, that's the first time we've said the number on this show, on this episode.
You've been kind of moving a little fast. It's okay. It's all good.
It's okay. Well, sometimes I'm fast.
Sometimes.
But I'm lovable. So let's close this splat book, gentlemen.
Yeah, we can do that.
It's a splat book for the ages.
Mm-hmm.
Because I said so. So, say goodbye, full on.
My mighty gamer nation, you will know the power of the furry when he comes to you in the night and says, "Hello there."
Ryan?
How am I supposed to top that? I can't. Until next time, folks. See ya.
And remember, you give me chills. And remember, folks, I don't always play lycanthropes, but when I do, I play werebears to kill the were-tigers.
Stay hungry, my friends.
Yes, stay furry, my friends. So I'll see you folks next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer. Bye-bye.
So there's been a whole slew of fur-based anime that has come out, and I have come up with the unified furverse system where you can put them in a chronological multiverse order of appearance. So you start with...
THACO's Hammer theme is provided by the Diablo Swing Orchestra. You'll find them on Jamendo.com. All other additional music for this episode was provided by Kevin MacLeod. You'll find more of his music on Incompetech.com. Be sure to visit our website at THACOshammer.info. If you have any questions or comments, email us at THACOshammer@gmail.com. Remember, that's an O, not a 0. You can also find us on the second edition forums at osrgaming.org and at purpleworm.org. Or give us a call and leave us a voicemail at 405-806-0555. See you next time when the hammer comes down on THACO's Hammer.